Question before that, how long would you want us to introduce ourselves for?
Just a brief introduction. Okay, is everyone ready? Aditi?
Yeah.
I can't see your camera. Okay, we are live now. I welcome you to the ECE Placement Tales from Changemakers Society. Today we have panelists from the 2024 Electronics and Communication branch, PES University. We're going to have a discussion on placements.
So, as we all know, the college placement is a very critical time for students, as it sets for the tone for the inception of their career. It is a phase which is filled with a lot of pressure and anxiety from all over the place. So, hence we have for you the placement test, which will help you get familiar with the college placements.
Let's start with a brief introduction and placement experience. Let's start with Aditi.
Hi, my name is Aditi, and I am in ECE domain. I think first of all, I think it's I would like to. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. I remember being on the other side of the panel last year, me and Manas. So it's really nice to be on this side now, and. I have been placed. I'm doing an internship in HP, and that is in software domain. And I also have a full time opportunity in EY, and I think. Now talking about, I don't know, I think I should talk about GPA and all of that, but I think it's all depending on what kind of job you want and what you're focusing on. More importantly, I think coming to summer internships. So summer internship, I summer internship in ISC Bangalore, and I think it was very relevant for me to do it there, and that landed me a internship in HP. And talking about placement, there was one more question I don't remember now. Um, Sorry. um, yeah, so projects, yes, projects is very important. I think you have to know in and out about your projects, because every technical interview they will ask you about your projects, and you should know every detail in detail about it. And yes, I was the operations head of CMS last year. So club involvement is there, but it depends on what it comes maybe in the HR domain and all of that, to like know how interested you are and your people skill and all of that. So yeah, and plans for masters, not right now. I'm focusing on working for some time, and then we'll think about that. So yeah, thank you. I think I'm done.
Thank you, Aditi. Next, we call upon Shweta.
Hi, I'm Shweta. I'm also from EC in 8th Sem. So I have a core internship in Samsung Semiconductor, and I got that in early October, and a non-core full-time in Deutsche Bank, which I got in the beginning of August. So Samsung Semiconductor had 2 interview rounds, both were online, and Deutsche Bank had 4 rounds, which were offline. Coming to summer internships. In and third sem, I didn't really have much of a gap, so I couldn't do much there. After sem 4, in the 2 month break, I did my minors, and after 6th sem, I did a summer internship the summer internship was a very nice opportunity. I got to understand the corporate culture, and it was a good exposure. And Adobe had a really great work culture where even the interns were respected. So it felt like you were contributing to the team. And most companies have proprietary software, so we could not access, say, Photoshop without license, which we were given. And it also improved helped me in improving my soft skills, and I got to interact with the company leaders as well. So coming to projects, the projects I have done are mostly the end sem college projects, and my capstone was in the robotics domain, and I was a teaching assistant for computer networks in seventh semester. So people say like a jack of all trades is a master of none, but I think engineering is a time to explore. So you don't have to decide what you want to do by first sem itself. And I also participated in many hackathons. So even if you don't win, it's a nice, fun project to put in your resume. And a nice conversation started during the interviews as well. Then preparations, most companies, they ask coding questions from HackerRank and LeetCode, and that is usually the platform they host the first coding round on. So some companies also ask aptitude questions in their first round, like say two trains going at different speeds and when will they meet. So even though Samsung Semiconductor is a core company, the first round was still a coding round where they asked some basic DSA questions. But some companies also, like Goldman Sachs, ask aptitude questions as well. So even if you prepare really well for the interviews, there is always a factor of luck. Like say Goldman Sachs, I was selected for the interview, but everything went well. The group discussion, the HR round went well, but then my resume was not matching with the company, so they said it was more suited for a core networking company. So coming to clubs, I don't think clubs are very important. Again, they're just conversation starters. But if you are part of clubs, it's a great place for networking. So I think, yeah, that's it about me.
Thank you, Shweta. Now we have Manas.
Hi everyone, I'm Anas. Me as well, I'm from EC too. I got placed around, I think, August starting or something in KPMG, sorry, October starting, right? It's like full-time plus internship. So I started my internship like around 16th of January, so like this Tuesday. It's been 4 days. It is a little hectic, it's far, it takes time to go, time to come back. And like it's a learning phase right now. There's not much to do, but you have to be there. And like since I was interested in a non-tech role, I didn't really, keep much track of the core companies coming in because like my interests don't align with the core companies. And like I've always been interested in non-tech, so I always made sure that I keep a track of how I speak, how well I present myself. That's very important during an interview. Like I feel more than what you know, they're interested in how you present yourselves, how you handle yourself in a pressure position, like pressure situation. They'll just throw a question at you, which is like out of the blue, you won't expect it. It's fine if you don't answer it also correctly. It's how you handle the question, how you reply to it. That's what matters. So like more than what you know, I feel how you carry yourself matters a lot. How you present yourself. You have to be like you have to sit properly, you have to talk properly, you have to greet them properly, you have to have a smile on your face all the time. That's really important. And coming to like clubs and stuff, I was head of operations last year. I was there where Tanisha is right now. I like hosted this event, and I was hoping last year that hope I'll be on the other side, the panelist side of the event next year, and I'm here. So it's a very great honor to be here. It's like a full circle moment for us, me and Aditi. And like clubs matter, bro. Clubs matter. Like they don't matter when you get a job. They matter as in your overall grooming is what I feel. You meet a lot of people, you network, you actually learn how you function around other people, which is like your job life. You have to be around so many people, you have to gel with everyone, you have to match everyone's wavelength because it's not the same. That's what you learn in clubs, I feel. Be it a non-tech club, tech club, it's all the same. It's just like networking, working with people, how well you fit in there. If you don't, what changes you make to yourself to fit in there. That matters a lot. Coming to summer internship, I interned at BEL. If you don't know, it's Bharat Electronics Limited. It's like a semi-government company which manufactures a lot of stuff. Actually, they have a lot of domains, be it military radars, military, uh, those tanks and stuff. And like, there's a lot of stuff there. I interned in that military radars, radios domain there. Basically, so that was a technical internship actually. Even though I wasn't interested in tech, I did a technical internship for the credits, if you can, like, you can say that. I had to, like, 2 months of that, I had to do something. So for it, I went there. It was like a good experience. It was something new, like something which we haven't seen in college because it's a new and upcoming tech, SDR. It's like software defined radios. You can look it up. I'm not going to go into tech of it. It's not a lecture. And like, have fun. You have time. I think the people who are in fourth semester, they have a lot of time right now. They can, according to what they want. Like if they want a tech job, then I think your electives matter a lot. At the end of fourth semester, you should actually sit and think that where do I want to work, what works for me, what subjects that I can, like, up until fourth semester, because your electives will be based on those only. Those are foundation. Electives are basically continuation of those subjects. So I think electives matter a lot. Like how what you choose, that'll shape up your future. I think it to a certain point it will, because your set of knowledge which will actually be asked in the interviews is all fifth and sixth semester only, if you think about it. So electives matter a lot, I feel. Then placement preparation starting, I think you should start like same thing after fourth semester. So that's what, like, I was coming up to. Again, like, more than subject matter is how you present yourself. The interview can go from here to there in matter of seconds. You answer a question wrong, it's fine. But if you own it up that okay, I answered it wrong, I don't know this, could you help me? That, I think that has more weightage. Then coming to the point that it's like, it'll happen. You don't have to, like, worry about it. You still have time. The fourth semester people are in sixth semester. I think you should, like, if you want core, you should start brushing up your skills now. It's high time. Seventh semester, it'll just go by like this. You won't even realize the seventh semester is over. Your placements are over. Like, it's still going on. It's not like it's not going on, but like when it happens, you're waiting every day for mails to come. You have to apply. GPA matters a lot, is what I feel. Like, you have to have a decent GPA to at least, participate in it, because companies will come, they'll put like, oh, our requirement is 6, our requirement is 7. But when you see the shortlist, it'll be like all 8, 8.5 plus. You're like, what the hell happened right now? So like, you have to have that safe margin above the cutoff GPA to at least, appear for the test also. So GPA matters a lot. You have to have that. Plus, along with that, all the soft skills matter a lot, I feel. Yeah, that's all. Have fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Manas. Now we have Sri Ramya.
Very good morning, guys. I'm Sri Ramya, currently in 8th semester ECE. So I'm undergoing my internship currently at Intel. So my date of joining for the internship was 3rd Jan. So I did not have any breathing room. And so internship at Intel, and I got an FTE at Oracle. So by the time I got placed, it was like 13th December. So my whole placement journey went on from August till December. So it was the whole of 7th semester, and it was torture, yes, but it was a really good experience. So if I have to tell you about my placement experience, it was quite a roller coaster ride, because I wasn't getting shortlisted much. Like, shortlisted in the sense I wasn't able to clear the written tests in the beginning. The first test I cleared was, I think, September at the ending. So yeah, now coming to projects that are important. So it's important if you know your capstone project inside out. So I would say that focus mainly on your capstone project, and even the other, like, you have like normal subjects, right? So the projects that you did in those subjects are also enough. So in my case, I mainly showcase like 3 projects: my capstone project,
and I took up NLP as an elective in 6th semester. So we had published a paper out of a chatbot. So that, and I'd also done an ANN project. So yeah, these three projects are the main projects that helped me get through. And speaking about clubs, so I was not very active in clubs. I'd only been in one club. So I was in the Rotaract club during my third year, and I was in editorial. So, and even in third year, the Rotaract club wasn't very active. So yeah, did clubs matter in my case? No, it didn't. So it's just something to put on your resume, I feel. Like, at least that was my case. And yeah, my GPA was like 9.16. So this is where the question comes: does GPA matter? For me, absolutely yes, it does matter. Why? Because so Intel didn't have any test of any sorts. There's no online test. So they did a resume shortlisting. So out of the profiles that they chose like around 5 profiles for one vacancy. And the 5 profiles, I still remember the GPAs. It was 9.33, 9.27, 9.17, 9.1, and 9.09. So that was a very high cutoff, and I felt really lucky that okay, I got this GPA during my course. So yeah, GPA does matter, but it's all right if you don't have that higher GPA, because some companies have their lower cutoff limit as 7, so that's completely fine. They will take you. I know guys who have like a GPA of 7 and they got into T1 companies, so that's perfectly fine. And the general procedure for placements, now you will have to register for placements either through PESO Academy, or the placement cell's going to send you a Google form where you have to fill your details. So make sure you register yourself for the placement cycle. That's very important. And the other thing is, keep checking your mail, because you don't know when they're going to when PESO placements is going to send you a mail. So from the like last week of July, I think that's when companies will actually start coming. So you are going to get a lot of mails in your inbox. You have to keep checking them. And sometimes when Apple had come to PES, I think PESO Placement sent a link at 12 o'clock, and they gave us a deadline of 1 hour. So we had to fill it by like 1 o'clock. So that this is also why you should keep checking your emails, be vigilant. And also some companies shortlist you on first come first serve. So whoever's filled the Google form first, like, but this is like mainly startups. But if you fill it fast, so you're more likely to like get shortlisted for the company test. So yeah, there's that. And for the tests, so there are 3 types of roles which I have taken part in. Like, so one is the normal software developer role, and then the other was a technical consultant role, and also you have another like associate engineer or graduate trainee for core companies. So I have written tests for all these 3 roles. And a common thing that you require for all these companies is that it's important that you're good at aptitude, because they will have at least one aptitude round, which does matter. And to prepare for that, it's actually, for me it was fine, because you get like tutorials on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube, search for aptitude for placements, you'll have like 1 hour videos on each topic. You have playlists which are pretty good. So yeah, preparing that way for aptitude is enough. Now, if you come for the test for software developer, you will have to go write 2 to 3 lead code medium questions, and you'll also have MCQs on minor topics like CS minor topics like DBMS and OS, and you'll also have CCN. You also have cloud computing and object-oriented programming. Now, the thing is, cloud computing and object-oriented programming is not in the ECE syllabus, right? So to tackle that, I feel like you don't have to go through everything. It's just you can go through like these 1 hour tutorials on YouTube for these 2 topics, or just go to Geeks for Geeks. So basically, Geeks for Geeks was my Bible. So yeah, you get like top 50 frequently asked questions, or you also get like all these. It basically goes through the course as a whole, so you can go through that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for software developer. Now, if you come to a technical consultant role, it's almost pretty much the same by my experience, but it's the questions are slightly easier. I won't say they're very easy, but the difficulty level is 1 level lower than the software developer role, I would say. But it's almost the same layout of test. Now, when you go to core companies, right? What is important for your core companies is you have these core subjects from third sem and fourth sem, right? So you have control systems, you have DVLSI, you have NAS, CAD, signal systems. So these subjects are very important if you want a core job. And because I've written some tests for core companies, and also they've asked questions on Verilog as well. So yeah, these subjects are good enough for core, and core will also ask slightly difficult aptitude questions. So yeah, that as well. Now, if you go to the next stage, this is the fun stage, which is the interview stage. Like, this is after you get like qualified. The interview stage is not very scary. So also don't get too disheartened if you don't get like a job through your after your first interview, because I've been through 9 interviews totally. And my experience with I got better with giving interviews as each interview went by. So the process on the whole is pretty fun, because so most of your interviews you can get to give through college. And also I had to go to the company, like to the office, to the company's office, for 2 companies. I had to go there and give the interview. So like traveling and going around their campus was also pretty fun. So yeah, you also have different interview styles for each role. So if you have like a software developer role, they'll make you go through 2 to 3 technical rounds, and they'll ask you questions like lead code questions itself, and they'll also ask you questions on like all your minors and like whatever subject that I mentioned, like DBMS and OS, etc. All of that. Basically, your minors is very important here. And for technical consultant, it's almost the same, but you'll have at most 1 technical round. At least that's what I've been through. And you might also have to go through a round called group discussion. Now, what is group discussion? It's basically they'll give you a topic, and you're supposed to ponder on it for around 2 to 5 minutes, depending on the panel. And you'll have to speak for or against it, or just give your opinions on that. They basically test your communication skills. That's it. So yeah, that's for the technical consultant role. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And there's also like you'll have managerial and HR rounds. So this is where they ask the confusing questions. They might ask you like mathematical puzzles, like for example, how do you cut a cake in such a way that you can get 3 pieces out of 2 cuts. So they'll ask you puzzles like that. And they might also ask you questions like, where do you see yourself in 2 years, in 3 years, in 5 years, etc. And questions like, do you plan to do your masters? So those are kind of the tricky ones. So that's about the interviews. Now, how did I prep? Firstly, summer internship. Having a summer internship is important for your growth. It's a very good thing if you have a summer internship, because you will get experience. But what if you don't have a summer internship? So that was my case. I had no summer internships. I couldn't get through that time. So I was kind of disheartened, but I spent the summer, like June and July, seriously, like I focused completely on finishing my capstone project. So I got the results for my capstone project by the end of July. And that would be useful because capstone project is not only about getting your results, it's also about writing your paper, which will also take time, because writing a paper is not an easy task. There are a lot of nitty-gritties that you have to take care of. So I focused on completing my capstone project in June and July. And I started my placement prep in August, which is a gamble. Please don't do that. I had to start in August because of all of this. I gave more priority to completing my capstone. And I also had like 2 more credits. So I took only one special topic during my 7th sem, which gave me more time to prepare for my placements. And I also had like a proper schedule and proper sleep, which is very important. I feel like you should not compromise on your sleep during your placement prep, and you'll just get more stress basically. So my schedule was basically like I woke up at 7 o'clock, and then I was coding till lunch, and then after lunch I was like focusing on my minors, and then after like maybe 6 or 7 o'clock, depending on how much I've completed, I focused on aptitude. So I had a schedule like that, and I made sure I slept by 10:30 because I am a person who thrives on sleep. And yeah, coming to coding language, I coded in Python, but I prefer C++ because Python had bit me in the back sometimes, because there were a lot of companies that asked questions only in C++, so they didn't have an option for Python. It was either C++ or Java. So I have heard that CPP is very good for competitive programming, and it's like execution time is faster. So yeah, it might take some time for you to get a hold of all the syntax, but I prefer C++ because sometimes companies do have a demand of only C++. So yeah, there's that. And the resources that I had followed, I basically coded from. I went to Lead Code. I did Lead Code 150, and I referred to Striver's DSA and Geeks for Geeks, and mostly my CS minors material and PS material for like CCN and all of that. So yeah, I am also planning to pursue my masters after a while, and I've like recently started preparing for that. So yeah, I know that's a lot for you guys to take in. Thanks for holding up till now. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sri Ramya. We have Yash now.
Yeah. So, hi guys. Great to be on this panel with some of my friends from the EC. It's been a while since I've seen a lot of faces. So, just a quick introduction about myself. I'm Yash Matnalkar, as you guys would know, uh, and I'm currently interning at a startup called Consumer, which works with artificial intelligence. I've completed a summer internship with a VLSI and semiconductor design company called Yoctozan Technologies. And I've also been placed in PwC India for a full-time offer. And so the offer was a tier two offer with a package close to around 10, 11 for, I saw a few questions in the live chat asking about CTCs. Thought, this would help. I also completed my minors in CS, and I've also headed the PSMUN Society, the TEDx club on campus, and I've led really large teams at Atmatrisha, Samarpana. So I've got the whole cultural experience at college, and tried to balance it with academics. May not have happened all the time, but really did put in an effort, and uh, the GPA did reward me at certain times. So I'll quickly get to the exact reason why I'm here regarding the non-technical placement that I've got right now. In terms of clubs, they do help develop your soft skills. Since I was part of so many non-technical events, it helped boost my organizational skills. It helped boost my public speaking. It really improved on my confidence, and it helps you develop a connect with whoever you're speaking with. Now, this is not a compulsory thing to be part of a club or a larger organization to gain these kind of skills, because I think Shweta and Shriramya here are the best examples. Not requiring a club to really be comfortable with speaking well. So that ties me to the next point, where interviews, right? It's really important to get that connect, to be able to control an interview and guide it in your direction. So, speaking of away from the technical and non-technical side, one thing I'd really like for all of you listening to keep in mind is uh, guiding the interview to make sure that they're asking you the questions that you know the answers to is extremely crucial. All right, because if you lose track, and if you end up talking about something that's not relevant, the interviewer always knows more than you, right? So they're going to ask you questions that they feel like you're not going to be able to answer, and that might put you in a fix. So I've been through about 4 or 5 interviews. I've given interviews at Cisco. I've given interviews at a few technical companies. I've given it at other of these top 4 FMCG brands. So that's really important. I made that mistake early on, and I learned it. I fixed it. So guiding the interview towards the direction that you want is extremely important, and that's what happens with non-tech companies, right? They're not really that worried about your technical knowledge as such, whether your GPA is, sure, it's definitely a thing, but what they want from you with a non-technical thing is your organizational capability, your communication skills. So if you're able to present yourself properly, like how Manas said earlier, I think that would nail what you would like if you want to jump into the business side of work. Right now, this does not mean that I'm completely disconnected from a technical thing. I personally am really interested in electronics, and while I did not get the opportunity to get placed in a really good core company, so I couldn't accept the offer during placements. But that is definitely something that I would like to pursue. Which is why I'm also preparing for my masters probably hope to get an opportunity within the next 1 or 2 years. So just to quickly finish this off by explaining what my summer internship did, because it's pretty relevant to EC. I got that off campus, right? On campus placements for EC are a bit iffy, especially considering the current situation of the market. So I did get that off campus. It was a mix of both LinkedIn and personal connects, but working in an EC organization, if you get lucky to get that opportunity, that really gives you an insight about what the reality of learning all these concepts of NAS, VLSI, like Sriram mentioned earlier, the importance of it and really being thorough of it, and how professionals in the field think, right? So if you get that opportunity, it's really important to absorb everything you can. Be it working under a professor on campus, right? Spending, cover the rest you in it. So that's it about myself. I hope everything was audible. Yeah.
Thank you, Yash. Now we have Yogita.
So, hello guys. I'm Yogita HK. I'm an 8th semester EC student. So, I got an internship, a hardware internship at SSIR, Samsung Semiconductors India Research. So, which is a part of Samsung Electronics, which works on providing industry leading technologies when it comes to memory and foundry. Coming to GPA, yes, it did matter, like everyone else suggested. For the number of students we have in PES, having a decent CGPA is also not enough because everyone ends up getting a 9. And when there comes a short list of 50 to 100 people, having a GPA close to 9 actually really matters. And it helped me too. And coming to summer internships, so since the beginning of third semester, I made sure that I really wanted a core job. So even though I took up minors because I wanted to know what the software side of it was, I made sure that I have a very good profile from the third semester, so that I'll have a edge over others when it comes to core. And coming to my summer internship, I did one summer internship after my fourth semester, that is at ASM Technologies, again as a hardware intern. So it was a very nice experience for the 2 months where I got to know how things work, and how things are different from what we learn in class, which is mostly theory. And moving on, I did quite a few projects as I suggested from the third semester. So I was involved with a lot of professors, and in between sems, I made sure I kept continuing those projects, which actually helped me in my resume moving on. When it comes to clubs and extracurriculars, so me and my friends, since the first day of college, we wanted to have a whole round experience. I myself was a very introverted and a very withdrawn person, but I wanted to explore everything in college. So I was a part of quite a few clubs, and I also headed event management at IKEA. I was also the head of design at Embryon. And Me and my team were one among the top 10 of Cisco Incubator the last year. So we're working on that as well right now. And I'd also have the opportunity of representing India at Unleash 2022. So, which was an international event where representatives from different countries came together for 10 days to discuss world problems. So as a whole, I was academically strong, but I made sure I enjoyed as much. So I think you all should also do the same thing. And this was my introduction. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. I think the viewers got a really good idea on placements. We have collected a few queries from them. So let's start with the first question. What is the most ideal time to start preparing for placements? This question is directed to Manas.
I think I covered it already in my introduction that after fourth semester, actually, like when the time you're selecting your electives is the best time to start because like it's not exactly you're not preparing for it directly, but like with the selection of electives, you're actually like driving your career to a particular path, and you have to choose companies which are on the same path. So that's the first step. Then after fifth semester, when you have summer internship, that's going to add up a lot to your preparation because like that's industrial experience. That's the closest experience you'll get to a corporate or a work setting. Along with that, depends if you want a core job, you have to brush up your skills all the way along up until your placement start. If you want a non-core job, you have to like non-core meaning you can't prepare for it. You have to always be prepared for it. Like it's your personality, basically. Your speaking skills, your time management skills, your organizational skills, how well you gel up with other people, that matters a lot. So yeah, that's all. That's about it.
Adding to what Manas had to say, fourth semester is the most ideal time for a tech and a core EC job because that's when they come up for summer internships. Like in the fifth semester, in the middle, they come. And for core, it's actually hard because the number of opportunities that came were really, really less. And looking at the market, it was one among the worst years this year. And so for the summer internship, only one company, Bosch, had come. So whoever had prepared before, they had an upper edge. So I would suggest fourth semester, you guys start your preparations. So yeah.
Anyone else wants to add on? Okay. The next question, what are the relevant skills that companies look for in a core job and also a software job? I think Shweta or Yogita can take up the
Yeah. So as Yogita mentioned, there weren't many core companies which visited this year. I think around four core companies, for VLSI companies at least visited, and they took only 3 to 4 people. Because most core companies require masters or 3 to 4 years of experience even for an entry level role. So if you don't have any connections, it's difficult to land one through campus placements unless your basics are very strong. Because again, it takes a lot of practical knowledge to get a core job. You can't just memorize circuits. You'll have to build the circuits to understand how they work. So what I would say is for a core company, start learning basic electronics. Like say you have created a device that cures cancer, but unless you know the ins and outs of the components, they'll just assume you plagiarize the circuit from somewhere. So you need to know what you have built, like say a project. So core companies are also a little stricter on CGPA because they want people with a higher CGPA, since that proves to them that you have understood the concepts. And it is a little difficult to learn ACD and DVLSI on your own, so it's better to pay attention in those classes. Again, for core companies, soft skills are also very important. You may know how a diode works, but if you can't put that in words, they'll just assume you don't know the concept. And if you're trying to explain something, draw diagrams, the interviewers will obviously appreciate that. Coming to a non-core company or a software company, the basics of DSA, DA, OS. So we are at a disadvantage because we don't have them as our core subjects. So it's again better to take minors. But you can, unlike ACD and DVLSI, it is possible to learn DSA and DA and OS concepts on your own. So yeah, I think those are the relevant skills for a core and a non-core job.
Okay, adding on to what Shweta had to tell. So, as we all know, there are 3 domains in ECE. One is space, one is wink, and one is nice. So, I did all my electives in nice, that is mostly related to VLSI. So, actually speaking, our courses are very well curated in a way. it's very relevant to what questions the companies had to ask, at least for the core, because I attended two core interviews. One was Microchip and one was Samsung. So both had a lot to ask about Verilog, which not many colleges actually teach their students, but we had quite a few electives which mainly focused on basics of Verilog. And most importantly, the third and fourth semester basic ECE core subjects were what that actually mattered. So subjects like ACD, CAD, DVLSI, and also computer architecture. So that all of that really mattered, because every question they asked in core was actually a very basic one, but they wanted us to have a whole round answer. Like, say they take up a concept in ACD, they ask you to link it with CAD, they ask you to link it with DVLSI, and their one question will basically cover our entire EC subjects. So having proper understanding is like a must. So, and yeah, the soft skills really matter. So I would like to add that when it comes to my clubs, it actually helped me talk and put across my what I thought like pretty well. So yeah, so these were the relevant skills that were required for core. And also know your projects really well, because I had three projects on my resume, and both the interviews they made sure they tested me in and out of like what really the project was. They asked me to draw diagrams, they asked me to go in depth, and they asked quite a lot of questions. You'll actually not know that they'll ask such basic questions, but sometimes you'll end up not knowing that. So basics is a must, guys. And as people tell, it's not really hard to get a job. You should just be prepared for it at the right time and have confidence about yourself. So yeah.
Thank you, Yogita. As a student from sixth semester, should we focus more on the GPA or the placement preparation? Any one
Yeah.
of you
So
can take this.
yeah, I'll just take this first. I think so. As somebody who did not really have a great GPA at the end of my second year, I took it. So there's two schools of thought here, right? One is where you have worked hard in your first 2 years and you have a decent GPA to give you that free room to prepare for placements early on. And the second is where you may have really messed up or not paid attention in the first 2 years, which was my case. And I think it's important in the second case for you to pick up your GPA, because before you even start your placement preparation, it's important to meet the minimum criteria. All right, in case you really want to grab something through placements, it's important to have a GPA above 8, above 8.5 to have the opportunity to sit for all these interviews and sit for all these opportunities. Now, uh, even for those of you listening to this with a lower GPA, it's not the end of the world, right? I've seen people with pretty high GPAs also give 4 to 5 interviews and not clear them, and people with lower GPAs clear one interview and get a really great opportunity. And apart from that, PES is a place that gives a lot of opportunities, right? Outside of placements as well. With a lot of research centers that are over here, with the IoT Center, with the IFSCR Center for your internships, for example. For full-time offers, if you're interested in non-tech, you can walk up to PVL at CIE and look around for an opportunity in software. It's not like they pay lesser; they do pay well as well. So if you're in your fourth and fifth semester and you have a poor GPA, I suggest working on that, because paying attention to your classes towards the fag end of your engineering cycle will ensure that you're at least thorough with those subjects. So you can spend your summer, working hard and catching up on all the courses that you've probably not done that well in your second year, like ACD, VLSI, etc. So apart from that, in case you have a GPA that's above 8, 8.5, I think you have that comfort to give yourself the room to study for placements early on from your fourth or fifth semester, while simultaneously, if you have a good GPA, I'm sure it'll be a cakewalk for you guys to score well. So keep that in mind. Don't do one over the other. Your GPA is your minimum requirement, so keep that at the back of your mind and work hard for placements.
So, what do you feel is the minimum GPA, like the safe
So
GPA?
So a safe GPA would definitely be 8.5, right? If you're looking for software, CS from what I've seen, 8.5 is honestly the minimum because the CS department has over 200 people with a 9 plus CGPA, right? And the EC department has probably 20. So, this disparity really caused a lot of issues for, people in the EC department to get opportunities because a company would come, they would see that 200 people have a 9 GPA, 9 plus GPA, and instead of keeping a minimum requirement of an 8.5 or an 8, they would keep that minimum requirement as a 9. Like, this is just a, hypothetical scenario. But, keep your GPA as high as possible, compete with your friends. Again, it's not the end of the world, right? But definitely having that 8 at the start of your GPA will help. And yeah, focus on that, work on it if you're not up there yet.
Thank you, Yash. Um, now, the next question is what is the importance of summer internship and how to cope up if we haven't landed on one yet? This question is directed to Aditi and Sri Ramya. Starting with Aditi.
So yeah, I think summer internship is quite important during placements. That too for technical, at least technical interviews, because that's of course a conversation starter. And in my technical interview, the first question was about the internship, and around 4 5 questions related to that, and in depth questions were asked. I did my internship in Indian Institute of Science, and I think that actually helped me score a good internship in HP. And talking about how to land up in one internship is firstly, there are a lot of websites in LinkedIn. It's depending on the season. Once, if it's December, I think December is the right time to start to apply if you're not yet got any internship, and for the summer I mean. And you can apply via LinkedIn, you can apply in Internshala, and there are so many other websites you can go for. And it's important to know that it's just not doing an internship and getting it done with. It's more important for you to really know each detail about your internship, because that actually plays an important role in at least the technical ones. And also make sure the internship you're choosing is aligned to what kind of of course your interests, but also what kind of job you want to do. Because I did related to ML, so that actually helped me again. So it's important that you also know that, okay, if you do a core internship, that will also help you in your core company interviews as well. So yeah, that's one thing I want to add. That's all.
How do you get an internship? You told you did your internship in
Yeah,
IISc.
yeah. So I had a few people I knew there. So that through a lot of contacts and all that, I could get there. You basically, so to get for these institutes, you have to mail the professors, and mailing them really they so during the time December is the right time to mail them, because that's when they start to really reply and take in. And there will be a lot of interviews and all of that, but it's more important that you will find their emails online, and you have to mail them.
Anyone else would like to add on to this?
Yeah, so I can only speak from the point of view of not getting a summer internship. If you do get a summer internship, it's really good because you'll have a lot of learning experience. There'll be a lot of exposure. You'll be able to do your interviews well, just like how Aditi did her interview, got into HP. That was amazing. It's like really inspirational. But I can speak from the point of view of not getting a summer internship. I was a bit dejected because many people around me did get a summer internship, and then I ended up not getting one because most of the interviews that I gave at that time didn't work out. So I see. So at that point, I saw it through this like point of view. So why summer internship? Like, of course, the learning is very important, but if you see it from an academic point of view, so you basically get credits out of this. So it carries academic relevance in the form of credits. which you will get anyway with your 8th semester internship. Or if you don't get an internship in 8th semester as well, that's fine, because the department will give you special topics which you can take up and you can fulfill your academic requirements. So if you look at it from the point of view of fulfilling your academic requirements, you don't have to worry, it's completely fine. But if you do get a summer internship, amazing, because you will learn a lot from it, as the other panelists have spoken about it. So don't let the peer pressure hit you, because I've experienced it. Like, as I said, all my friends getting summer internships, and then I see people's LinkedIn saying that, oh wow, I've gotten an internship here, and then I didn't have any internship, and that hurt a lot. So just don't let the peer pressure hit you. Have other plans for yourself. In my case, I focused on my capstone, on completing my capstone project. So yeah, that also helped me in my 7th semester to face all of my capstone reviews. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have to share about my point of view.
Thank you, Sri Ramya.
The next question goes to Shweta. How to crack technical interviews?
Yeah, so in my 5th semester, I wrote I wrote a test for Adobe, which was an aptitude test, and I got selected for the interview round. So at that time, I just learned DBMS. So my concepts weren't that clear. So they are less strict in that summer internship, for that summer internship phase, and it is easier to get a PPO if you land a summer internship. Then coming to the 7th sem placements, they are a little more strict for full time. So Deutsche Bank had 4 rounds, so 2 technical rounds and 2 HR rounds. So as I stated before, participate in hackathons. So even if you don't win, it will show the HR people that you're capable of working in a team. And during the technical interviews, it's a nice way to show the interviewers that you have applied your engineering knowledge and created these interesting projects. Even if it is a software role, learn your core subjects, because if they see that you are an EC student, they are definitely going to ask you core questions. So they may not ask in-depth VLSI questions for a non-core interview, but they will ask questions from computer networks and computer architecture, because the computer science students do have similar core subjects as well. So coming to questions asked in a core, say a core interview, they may ask questions like very basic questions like working of a Zener diode, or draw basic circuits like how to use a transistor as an amplifier. Complex circuits are just applications, so the interviewer just wants to know if you know the nitty-gritty of every component, and they're not going to ask you very complex questions, say something an application you learned in your 6th sem elective. Another thing to crack technical interviews is know every single word of your resume. And this also applies for capstone. Whatever you put in your resume, say you wrote 1 line of C for an Arduino project, but you put C in your skills, they will start asking questions on procedure oriented programming, because if you put it in your resume, they expect you to know a lot about it. And they will scrutinize your resume, and they will ask you to explain any projects that they find interesting. So if you put that project in your resume, make sure you have contributed to that project. And again, I put 5 projects in my resume, and during one of the interviews, the HR person said that was a lot of projects. So if you have 2 to 3 very interesting projects, say you have got a publication out of it, it's better to put those rather than putting, say, 10 projects which you have just done for the sake of it, or like copied from ChatGPT. And then during the technical interviews, if you don't know something, or you want the interviewer to make something clear to you, just be honest, because they are more interested in understanding the procedure you take to solve the question rather than getting the right answer. Next, summer internships, they're just a bonus. They know that you have corporate knowledge, and it's just a 10-week internship. So you will not gain a lot of technical knowledge, but you will improve your soft skills and you will get that corporate exposure, sitting in the calls with the teams, and it's very interesting. Now again, um, they do the for core companies, again they don't really care about specialization, so you can take the subjects you are interested in. Like personally, I took zero VLSI electives but still landed a core job in the domain of wing or wireless networking. um, if you do have a specialization, it is a bonus because it the interviewer feels that okay, you are interested in pursuing a career in this subject, so it is a plus point again. Again, for GPA, core companies are a bit stricter about GPA. So if you have a GPA of 8 and there is a person you're competing with who has a GPA of 9, and they have only one position and they like you equally during the interview, they are more likely to take the person who had a CGPA of 9. So if you have a lower GPA, it is harder to prove yourself that you do know the concepts, even if your technical interview goes really well. So next, if you're going for masters, the company may not want to hire you because they are spending a lot of money to train you, and if you just leave after say 6 months of training, it feels like a waste of money for them. Um, Again, for interviews, I was lucky during one of my interviews where other interviewers were asking questions on trees and graphs, but my interviewer just asked me to name my favorite data structure and asked me questions from there. So of course it's 99% hard work, but there is also that 1% factor of luck. So if the company just clicks, it clicks. And one of my HR rounds, I was asked many riddles, and I wasn't able to solve many riddles completely. But when I explained my thinking process, they were happy. And again, if you have EC on your resume, if you answer the electronic square related questions they ask, it is an advantage to you that you have proven to them that you understand your curriculum and you have taken the extra time to learn computer science topics as well. And then, apart from the technical rounds, don't underestimate HR rounds because many people have been eliminated. So they have passed the two very rigorous technical rounds. But then, if the HR person found that they were not a correct fit for the company, you may get eliminated. So it's not that if you pass the technical rounds, you are guaranteed a spot in the company. So again, it's not always about skill. It's everyone is not fit to work in every company. There will be companies that click with you. So you should just take the opportunities as they go. And again, this is just a phase. We were all very stressed for 10th, 12th, JEE, CET, but in the end, it all seems very silly. So it all works out in the end that there's no reason to stress and spoil your health. So you shouldn't take these interviews too lightly, but there's no point stressing too much about these. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Shweta. My next question is how to get better at problem solving and DSA in general, and like how much is enough? How much of lead code is enough? And also, is it the right time for people who haven't done minors to start their DSA journey in 6th sem, like just before the placements?
Yeah, so I take that up. Firstly, it's fine if you start your DSA in 6th sem. It's completely fine. Just go at like the right pace. Just pace yourself. Keep a good schedule. As long as you have a good schedule, I guess you will get your work done. And yeah, now would be a very good time to start off with your coding, your lead code. So one thing that I would like to say is if you want to get better at like problem solving in DSA, go step by step. Don't rush anything and be very patient because during this journey you're going to fail a lot of times. So sometimes you might not understand how a problem is solved, why this logic is being used. So you might need some time to wrap your head around the concepts and like get to know why this problem is solved in a particular way. So one thing I would say is be really patient, let it take its time. Once you get a hang of it, I'm pretty sure your speed will also pick up and you'll be able to do well after that. So yeah, you have to be really patient during this whole thing. Another thing I want to say is for your DSA prep, go topic wise. So you can start off with the easy topics like arrays and then hash maps, and then so like you can like attack the important topics first. So like go for trees and graphs, and then you go for like backtracking and then greedy, and like and you can keep DP to the end, because these like most companies that come in the beginning, what I've observed is that they mostly ask like questions from DSA. So they've asked like questions either related to graphs or, and your DFS BFS is very important, by the way. So yeah, the like you have to focus on completing your DSA part first. And yeah, companies can't ask anything beyond this, so the basic DSA and DA is more than enough. Don't worry about going out of topic and practicing like extreme stuff. Just maybe you can like start lead code, and when you basically solve questions, I think one important thing to remember is keep the patterns in mind. So don't exactly remember how you solved this question. Just try to remember what concept you used and why you used it, what kind of a question is it, so that you'll get with more practice. So don't be afraid to practice more. Don't give up and be like, oh, this is not my cup of tea. Just try and try again. And yeah, you have to be really consistent as well. You can't like just drop out one day. I mean, it's fine to take a break if nothing's clicking. It's fine to take like a break of maybe 3-4 days, just let it ease down. But you can't let, I mean, I just advise you to like not drop out and think, okay, this is not my cup of tea, and like just give up practicing. You have to be very consistent. That's important. And how much is enough? So I feel you have to go topic wise, not like, and not be like, okay, I finished these many lead code problems today, I finished these many lead code problems, blah blah blah. No, go topic wise. And you can like focus on one topic. So let's take arrays. Solve how many ever problems you can in arrays. So maybe you can solve all the lead code 150 problems on arrays. If you feel like you need more practice, so I also refer to Striver's DSA list. You can go there as well and practice problems on arrays. So yeah, attack stuff topic wise, I'd say, and not, okay, I've done these many problems today, I've done these many problems today. So that would be that would be more useful. And you can like practice one topic until you're sure that you can solve any problem that comes in that particular topic. So if you feel like you're confident enough, you can go to the next topic. So yeah, and there's also another question about the programming language, right? So I said that I use Python. You can also use Python. There's no issues, because I'd seen that people who usually code in Python get the problem right, so they have a higher chance of getting like passing more test cases, etc. But I also feel like the industry has demand for C++ as well. I think I would have mentioned that before, because there are some companies who only ask questions in C++. So yeah, C++ would also be very important if you haven't like targeted any programming language. So for me, first it's like, okay, you get a hang of your programming language, see what programming language you want to code in, and then you go to your DSA. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you so much, Sri Ramya, for sharing your views on how to get better at problem solving. My next question is, doing minors necessary for placement, especially when you're sitting for a core job, and what are the pros and cons of it? And do they actually ask questions based on your CS minors if you're sitting for a core job? This question is directed to Shweta and Sri Ramya, starting with Shweta.
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, ECE is at a disadvantage because DSA and DBMS are not our core subjects. We can study by ourselves, but it gets very tedious. There are many resources online. You don't know which one is right, and you may not understand the concept properly. And you'll also be competing with 700 plus CS people from both the campuses, because the placements are combined and they have done DSA as a core subject. So companies are more likely to take computer science people. So say we have the opportunity of sitting for a software job. If you are in your second or fourth sem and you don't know if you should take minors, and you're debating on whether you should take it or not, just take it. Sixth sem is, it's gets a bit busy with capstone and it's too hectic to take minors. So if you haven't taken minors in your until your 6th sem, just focus on learning the basics of DSA, DAA, and DBMS. And OS is very similar to computer architecture, so that's not a worry. I found minors very useful. Even, yeah, Deutsche Bank was a non-code job, a software job. So they did ask coding questions. But even Samsung Semiconductor, even though it was a core company, they did the first round was a coding round where they asked questions on DSA. So yeah, medium level lead code questions were asked on like graphs and trees. And even Deutsche Bank, the second HR round, I was asked on how I can integrate computer science with my ECE background. So the advantage we have is we know the basics of hardware as well as C, Python, ML, and we can integrate both of them in IoT. And so minors, it's nice because it makes you stand out from those electronics people who haven't taken minors and are. It's a little harder for them to prove themselves that they do know the DSA, DBMS concepts. So, say you want to do an internship in the summer after fourth semester, either do an internship, which is useful not just for the sake of it, or do minors because that will show companies that you're proactive and you're serious about upskilling yourself. The only cons I would say is that it became absolutely hectic. I couldn't do any internship after fourth semester, so I lost those 2 credits, which I have to make up in this eighth semester with my spring internship. So I would say overall EC with CS minus does stand out because there is a chance that core companies, even if you're aiming for a core company, there is a chance that core companies will ask coding questions in the first round. And even if your EC basics are amazing, if you don't pass that coding round, you won't be able to go to the interview and prove yourself. So yeah, I would say minors are very useful.
So I feel like Shweta's covered all the like important aspects of this question like very well. So if I had to add something to that, I'd say is minors necessary? Yes, it's gonna look really good on your profile. But if you haven't done minors, it's fine because yeah, there are a lot of online resources. I've seen people who haven't done a minors get into a software job because they would have referred YouTube videos. There's Love Babar, and then there are other people who also make videos on like CS minors topics. But I feel like if you proceed that way, it might become too hectic for you. That's even more hectic than the CS minors, I feel. CS minors, yeah, if you take it up, then and if you complete it, if you aim on completing it like by summer and all of that, it might be a little hectic. You might not be able to enjoy your summer much, but the bright side of that is you won't have to spend too much time revising your minors concepts. So I recommend you do your minors because yeah, it'll look good in front of like companies. Your profile would look good, and you won't have like a time crunch in which you're supposed to like learn all of your minors concepts. So yeah, I recommend you take up computers minors, and you're also going to have a lot of fun because so like Shweta and I were in the same like bench. We like sat together for minors. We had a lot of fun during summer, and yeah, you make good memories and you learn a lot as well. So yeah, I recommend you take up your minors.
Thank you, Shweta and Sriramya. My next question is to Yogita, which is how to present your resume well for a core job. And what are some of the tips which you recommend to make your resume look more interesting?
Okay. So I think everyone here would agree that make sure your resume is one page. So the max you can go is one page. And it should be very crisp as to who you are and is it suitable for that company, because that person who's interviewing you does not know who you are. And within that just one page, you should make sure that they know what skills you have and what you're capable of. So there was one template shared by, if I'm not wrong, Bain and Company, which had the best resume, which is very crisp and short. So I use that for making my own resume. So it should have your photo and your education qualifications, what school, what PU university, pre-university you went, and then your college and your GPA, and then your experiences. If you have a summer internship, that and whatever else you have done in the other 2 years, or any kind of internships, then your projects. I think the maximum number of projects you can put is three. So I went with three or two. That's actually just fine. Knowing them in and out is a lot better than putting five projects and then not knowing half of them. So know your projects entirely, and if you've published any paper, make sure you mention that you have published the paper, and make sure they know that you were involved in it as much as you were. And then divide the bottom of the page into like two columns where you put skills and then you put relevant skills. And then the other side, you can put your extracurriculars or your positions of responsibility. So they'll know that you had certain leadership skills, or you had extra number of skills which others might not have. So I like teaching students who are underprivileged. So I make sure I put that. So they know who I am by just that one statement or so. And I also make sure that based on the kind of company, or the company, I change the projects so that it's relevant to what Samsung does, or it's relevant to what Microchip does. So they will be able to resonate it better. So even though I had DSA projects, I'll not end up putting them on my core resume, because it's irrelevant. So make sure it's as relevant as it can be and as crisp as it can be, because all that matters is that one sheet of paper. So yeah.
Thank you, Yogita. My next question is to Yash. How to improve soft skills and present yourself better in an interview?
Yeah, right. So I covered a bit about this earlier during my introduction, but the primary thing that you need to walk into an interview with is confidence, right? And that confidence should be towards what you've done so far, all the technical skills that you've studied for. And again, this confidence comes with preparation, right? So it ties to all the other answers that that the other panelists have been speaking all this while. That prepare well. So once you prepare, you develop that confidence, and with your confidence, you sit upright, you look them in the eye, you develop a connection with them, and you control the pace of the interview, right? Give them the answers that they're looking for. Nothing more than that, because you may say something that they catch on, and that they'll over question you about. So in case you feel like you're a nervous person, you find it difficult to talk under pressure, there's no harm in getting on a call with a friend of yours and having a mock interview with them, right? It need not be the exact same questions that a person will ask you in the interview, but I've seen that it's worked for quite a few of my friends, where a mock interview really helps them get the confidence and the formal language with which they need to speak to an interviewer with, right? So don't prepare your like, okay, honestly, if you feel so, you can prepare a few answers beforehand, practice them, like a solid introduction that covers all your aspects. Find something, type it out, practice it a few times, and over, like, depending on the company, you'll be able to tailor this to whatever requirement you may need. So again, prepare. That preparation will give you confidence, and with that confidence you can speak. And to speak, you can either practice or just wing it. I mean, most of us have winged it. So yeah, that's about it.
Thank you so much, Yash. My next question is to Manas. This is a question from one of our viewer from the live stream, which is about the role that a LinkedIn profile and GitHub plays in placement. And is it advisable to add our SEM 3, 4, 5, 6 projects and Python and C projects in our LinkedIn? So is it advisable? and how well does the LinkedIn and the GitHub it plays in our placement procedure?
LinkedIn is like really important. What I feel like that's bread and butter for networking is what I feel. Like you should start building connections from first year itself. Like I personally joined LinkedIn quite late, like some fourth sem into college. I joined LinkedIn, but like I think as soon as you join college, you should like get an account on LinkedIn, add all your qualifications to it, add the certifications you get, any major project which you're a part of, the hackathons you've won, you should like keep posting it on LinkedIn, build connections, build repo, and like wherever you go, like if you go to a hackathon, you'll meet new people. You go to a company event, like Cisco Incubator is there. You go there, you'll meet new people. You add them on LinkedIn. It's like if you have anything to ask or any favor to ask, any you need a referral, you can ask them because LinkedIn people they'll help you a lot. And talking about Git, I don't really have an idea about Git. So if someone who's into coding or like into software development can answer that question, it'll be good.
I think I can answer that. One of the companies, I think out of the 5 companies I applied to, only one of them asked for a link to the GitHub profile. And I don't really, unless you're applying off campus, I don't think LinkedIn and GitHub really matter because if you're applying on campus, Presso Placements takes care of everything. There's just the Google form, and not many companies ask for GitHub or LinkedIn profile information.
I would like to add on that. I think the first question in my EY interview was that are you on LinkedIn? So maybe for at least the non-tech, I think it's important that at least if you're not active, just have an account, keep some little bit is I think that's a little important maybe for the non-tech at least. Talking about the GitHub, yeah, there were few companies which asked for GitHub link. That is only to know how skilled you are, but yeah, at least have an account is more important, I think. Yeah.
I feel for getting placed, you don't need LinkedIn, like because it'll happen through college. But like once you have a job, it's very important. Like for me, my internship started, and there's a entire program called LinkedIn Learning, and you have to have an account for that. Like they provide you with LinkedIn Learning, the HR courses. There are so many courses. Like I think once you get a job, it's very important. Until then, it is recommended you have it. You're active on it, so that if by chance, like she told, are you on LinkedIn? Or if they followed it up with, yeah, show me your account or something like that. And if it was not very well developed, puts it puts you in a position where like, oh, like it's not an good thing for you then. Like it's fine though. Like after you join a job, then it's important. Like until then, it's fine.
Thank you, Manu, Shweta, and Aditi. My next question is to Sri Ramya. Do you have any tips to the students who are right now in their second, fourth, and sixth semester regarding anything? It shouldn't be basically about placements or about soft skills, but anything.
Okay, so this can be like there can be many different versions of this, but if you had to ask me for tips, okay, so maybe for second sem, I guess you guys can like take it easy because you literally just got into college, which is a big thing because it's very hard with all the entrance exams and stuff, and then you just got into college and you're still discovering yourself, you're still seeing what clubs you want to join and all of that. So second sem, take it easy, maybe see what clubs you're interested in, and then just like discover more things about the college and have a bit fun. So if I was going to say something, like if you want me to tell something relating to placements, then I think you can start discovering what excites you, like what domain you would be interested in after, like maybe what domain you want to do projects in, or what do you want to get into after your engineering. Like don't like immediately start on it and be like, oh no, what do I do, no, take your time. you have a lot of time. So yeah, just second semester guys, just settle in, take your time, have fun. Fourth sem guys, if you are like sure unsure about going down the software path, yeah, as many people have suggested on this panel, take up your minors degree. It's going to be very useful for you, so you can like focus on your minor subjects and like understand like the important topics in depth. And yeah, maybe you can start working on projects. You can maybe like you can also go during the summer, like you can approach teachers and you can do projects under them. Maybe if you're interested in publishing papers, if you want to pursue your masters after like your btech, and you might need a few publications on your list, right, to make your resume stand out. So maybe you can start approaching teachers asking to work under them. And yeah, you can do all of that stuff in fourth sem. If you want, like if you want a software job, or yeah, if you want a software job and like you are sure about what programming language you want to code in, then yeah, you can start learning that programming language. And yeah, and like studying your, yeah, that's it, like your programming language, you can focus on that. And 6 semesters, so 6 semester, this might be very packed for you because capstone's important. You'll have like your literature surveys, so you'll have to focus on that. And then I think in 6 sem I struggled a lot with wa and ca. Like those were my those are the subjects I hated the most, so I struggled a lot in that. And in that aspect, for me 6 sem was a bit packed. But if you guys can, then maybe if you haven't started on your programming language, then I think that time would be a good time to start. And maybe look to solve at least like one or two lead code questions per topic. Just start slow basically in 6 sem. So yeah, that would be my advice. I'm not sure if I missed out anything. Yeah, that's all I would like to add.
Thank you, Sri Ramya. My next question is to Manas. For a non-tech, for a non-tech job, do they ask questions based on coding?
It actually depends on your luck. They do.
Okay.
Like they won't go into the depth of it. They won't go into the depth of it. But like they'll see your resume, right? They'll see you've put coding languages on it. You might have put Python. You might have put SQL. So for KPMG, SQL was a little important. So my peers who got into SQL, into KPMG, I'm so sorry, they got asked SQL. And luckily, I didn't get asked any coding questions. So it actually depends on your luck that day. But it's not like it's a non-tech role. They won't ask you anything technical at all. They ask me about my internship. They ask me about the languages I know. They ask me to rate my knowledge in SQL or Python. But they didn't follow that up with a question. They usually do. Nine out of 10 times they'll follow it up with a question. They didn't do that to me. So like they do. They ask about it.
Did you do your minors?
No, I didn't do any minors in CS.
Okay, so you just learned DBMS, is it?
Yeah, I was kind of interested in SQL. That looked interesting. I just took up a course on Udemy. Python, see, they'll teach you in ECE as well. Like ML, you have ML in 5th semester. They'll teach you Python. Anyway, first and second you have Python and C, right? You can just use the knowledge and carry it forward for all the semesters.
So what job role did you apply for? Like what job
It's
roles
an
were you
analyst role.
applying? Sorry?
What job roles I was applying for? A technical consultant role.
Okay.
So basically all the big fours, preferably I was looking to get into one of the big fours because my further plans are to do MBA in a span of 2 years or 3 years. And apparently technical consultant jobs, these big four, like they really add weight to your CV. Like it's good to have one of these big fours in your CV as any role actually, be it analyst or be it like any other roles. So you start as an analyst only because in this technical consultant field, you start as an analyst, and the end goal is to be a partner. Partner is basically who runs the company. Like below the partner, there'll be a director, associate director, manager, associate manager, associate consultant, consultants, then analyst. So there are like 6 or 7 positions between an analyst and a partner, and it's relatively faster to rise up these ranks in Big Four. Because if you have an MBA, it's always adds to your advantage.
But how did you get through the MCQ tests, the coding MCQ tests, since you told me that you
So
haven't?
yeah, if you talk about Deloitte, even though they came for this analyst role as well, technical consultant, they had coding questions. And I'm not really proficient with coding, so I couldn't clear those questions, even though they were easy. I know. I just couldn't. Okay, and then be it PwC or KPMG, I wrote these 2 tests. They were all only aptitude based questions. So aptitude you can do on, like, there's so many websites. IndiaBix is there. I think I personally did my aptitude preparations on IndiaBix. It's a website. It's really good. You get all kinds of questions with all kinds of levels, like quantitative, qualitative, all types of questions will be there. Basically, then you get asked such questions only. It'll be aptitude. See, if you're applying for a non-tech role, it'll be mostly aptitude only. So it wasn't that hard to prepare.
I would like to add one thing here that talking about, so everybody was talking about the interview, how to clear it, how you present yourself. But I think before all of this, online tests to clear them, it's very challenging because there's a lot of competition, as everybody knows. But more importantly, I think one thing is that, yes, so many people just focus on, for the technical tests and all that, people just focus on the coding and OS and all of those technical stuff, but they forget about quants, because quants is something you've learned maybe in 10th or 9th and everything, and that comes now. So reading that and revising all of those topics is important. And coming to the coding questions and all of that, so there were many tests which was easy, like the questions were easy, but everything depends on your speed and your, the shorter time you take, the more chances is there that you get selected. So there's one tip there, that you have to be quick, you have to be fast. There are so like 500 people writing the same test. You have to be very, very fast, and that comes only with practice. Talking about, so I started, of course, I worked on OS and all of these, but then doing quants really gave me a push, because I was able to solve them quickly and move to the next question. So I think doing quants and remembering that time is very, very important, because it's all competitive, is needed. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
There's one question for from our viewers. The question is, the CGPA given for minor, will that affect during placement? That question I
Okay.
asked Sri Ramya. She's nodding her head.
No, it doesn't matter. The
Yeah,
only,
I think
I think the only
result comes after it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So like the only time I think minors GPA might matter is if you want to do a master's in computer science, maybe they might check your transcripts. They'll ask for your transcripts, right? So you have to also give your minors transcripts. So that time it might matter. I'm not saying it does. It doesn't matter at all. Only like the knowledge that you've obtained from your minors is the only thing that is important for you to get through placements. That's it. Like that's all.
And also adding on to that, guys, if you're serious about you wanting a pure computer science role, then only apply for minors. If you don't want to, then there's no point of staying for extra hours, putting in the effort, paying for more courses if you don't really want that. Don't be like, all my friends are taking and so I'll take and it might help. No, if you're really wanting a CS role, then please do. Otherwise you'll end up not doing that as well properly along with your course. It'll be another hectic thing for you, because you have to complete 4 courses in order to get your minor degree. So yeah, think about it and then only choose. It's not like a must. There, I know a lot of people who haven't taken minors, but they still ended up getting a lot of CS jobs. So yeah, it's not a must, but yeah, people do recommend it.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even know my minus CGPA, but I still got a software job. So yeah, it's definitely the CGPA does not matter. There was a case, I think, where two people were selected for one role. They wanted only one person. They took the person who got an S in DSA rather than the person who got an A in DSA. So I think it's just very rare cases, but yeah, minor CGPA definitely does not matter.
Okay. One more question. How to deal with pressure of comparing yourself to your peers and placement pressure in general?
Okay, I'll take up, probably a bit of this. Uh, Placement pressure is crazy, right? Considering that, placements weren't really good this year for a lot of people. I think half the entire of PES from both EC and our campus, none of them have been placed, right? Half the population is still unplaced after 6 months of placement. And that is a little scary, and that has gotten stressful. I have friends who haven't been placed either. So it's important to note that this is not the only opportunity that you have to get a job. The internship, sure, it is a great addition to your CV, but PES gives you a facility to study and do special courses. And you have a year starting from June of your seventh semester till June of your eighth semester end to search for a full-time offer. LinkedIn helps. There are many, other websites like Unstop, Blue Learn. There's PVL up here. There's research projects. You can reach out to professors in research institutes. IASC, ICER, IITs. They're often looking for students to help them in their projects, right? So there is no dearth of opportunities. Placements do end up being a matter of luck in terms of how many people companies want to come and take, not about getting selected on merit, right? Because a lot of mass hirers that were going to come this year did not come, and there's a lot of popular companies that people were looking forward to that didn't come. A clear example would that be that for EC, there's been such few core companies, right, compared to last year itself. So if you don't get placed, it's definitely something that's dejecting. It will break your heart, but know that it's not the only opportunity out there, right? Again, LinkedIn and PS in itself offers you so many opportunities for research, for work, to find a foothold till you get some contacts, till you network a bit, and find an opportunity that suits you best.
And adding on to that, guys, it was a really big roller coaster this year. I've known friends who have very, very good CGPAs. Still, by 1 or 2 marks in the test, they weren't able to clear it and move forward to interviews. And some people who cleared everything, and in the HR round, because of one silly question, they were put out. And as Yash mentioned, the number of students they took is comparatively really, really low this time. So you have to be prepared for anything and everything. And I also know people who were very cool for the last 4 years, who people thought that yeah, they enjoyed the whole time, and the CGPA was also less, but they ended up getting huge packages. Looking at that, some of my friends were like, what have we done wrong? Because we literally put efforts throughout the 4 years, but we're still here. So that's reality. They ended up doing well that one day. You might not be the best on that day, and it's still okay. It's okay to feel low. All of us did feel low in the matter of 6 months. It was really hectic, but you will get through it. Just have confidence on yourself that yeah, I know what I can do, and I'll eventually get it. But just don't sit idle and don't give up. So like Yash said, there are a lot of opportunities looking out for you. You should be ready to grab them. And yeah, so it can be anywhere. Just don't sit idle. If you didn't get a company, it's fine, go to any institutes like IISc, ISRO, etc. If that also doesn't work, work with your professor on some really good project, and you may never know which will help you at the end. So yeah.
Right. So, as a follow up question to that, I think this is the last question. How worried should we be about the market with continuous news of layoffs and such? This question is directed to Yash.
Okay. So, I mean, none of us have been laid off, touchwood, so kind of don't know how we're going to deal with that. But so, yes, the market is bad, and the situation, like I said earlier, is a little poor right now. But I think this is how the economy has been working. It There are highs and lows, so there's nothing you can do. But what you can do is, even when you're working, right? Uh, if you have achieved that goal, then that's all well and good. But if there's a higher ambition that you have in mind, a company that you want to work for, a startup that you want to build, an idea that you want to work on, get started on it, right? I mean, guys, we're young and we have the energy. So I believe like companies like Google, Amazon, their recruitment cycles are all year round, and each recruitment takes in itself 4 or 5 months. Like each interview is separated by a span of like 8 to 10 weeks. So protect yourself by upskilling yourself, make yourself valuable to wherever you are. And I think that should help, because I think that's what we've also learned from people that not only have been laid off but have prevented themselves from being laid off. So that's the only information that we can relay to you, since we're also stepping into the world right now. So I think the first step is to give yourself an opportunity, get yourself an opportunity, and the next step would be to upskill yourselves. I think that's what all of us, each one of us here, is also trying to do. Make sure we get the best of ourselves, wherever we're working. Make yourselves valuable, not just to the company. That should hopefully take things better.
Since a few of you told me that you're planning for masters, so is it a good option to like disclose it during an interview when you're asked whether you're doing your master?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Not
not.
at all. Not
So,
at all.
yeah.
That's a
So
trick question. Never.
it's not even like it. The first logical thing that you can think of is they are going to be paying you for 6 months, not just for an internship, but they are preventing another person from getting the opportunity that you have, right? I mean, it might sound a little unethical on your part, but I mean, it is reality, right? You need to have a backup option as well. So for them, having somebody who's going to leave in June is a liability, right? So if you really want that job, if you want a good backup option, then don't disclose your master's plans at all. Like preferably not even during the internship, because that can create problems for you as well.
Then what do you answer to that question? How do you?
No, just say no. I mean, if you're
But
sitting for
what if
that,
they ask you why aren't you going to do your
so
master?
so
I got asked this question, like, why? Why you don't want to go for masters? Then I was like, sir, like, right now there are no plans. So for the future, like the near future, I just want to work, right? Get some experience, and then whatever future holds, wherever I go, I'll just see about it. Like you have to frame it in a way that it doesn't sound like, oh, you don't want to study, you don't want to grow. It shouldn't sound like that, but at the same time, it should be like you wanna, get some experience first, work for the company you are applying for. You'll be there for them for a considerate amount of time, so that it doesn't go against you that okay, they will hire you, but like you should have it in your mind that you portray it in a way that it seems like going, but like you might go after like a considerate amount of time. The company will take work from you, and like it'll pay off for them. It should be like they'll invest in you, but they'll just go in 1 year. That's just like how Yash told is, you're just a liability to them that way.
Yeah, actually, I got this question too. So, if you want to go for masters again, they for the first 6 months, if they hire you for the first 6 months, you will not be build like, you will not be generating any revenue for the company, because they are spending the money they are generating on training you. So if you leave in after getting trained, it's just a waste of money for them. So what I said is I don't want to do masters because I'm not interested in research. And to be fair, doing masters, you are more inclined towards a research job. So I said I can get all the skills I need through the corporate job, or there are many resources available online if I am that interested in pursuing masters. So I told them that after around 3-4 years, I am interested in pursuing an MBA, so that it doesn't sound like I am not. I'm just going to stay in that company forever. So they shouldn't get that wrong impression of that of you either.
Okay, so I think we've come to an end of our discussion. So if you guys would like to add on anything.
Yeah, I think the questions were curated pretty well. I think everybody that's asked these questions also covered every single aspect of the journey that we've had through placements. So yeah, I think great job to you guys also on that. So thanks, guys. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your valuable time and having so much patience to answer all these questions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm sure Tanisha and I and all the viewers have got a very brief idea on how the placement and all the internship projects work. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having us here.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you.
guys. All the best for your placements and all of that.
Yeah, good luck everybody for your placement season.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.